Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 388, A Walk to Remember. Intermediate. It was a cool autumn morning in the small town of Willowbrook. The leaves had turned golden and red, and a light mist hung over the fields. Sarah, a young woman in her mid-20s, decided to take a walk to clear her mind. She had been feeling restless lately, unsure about her future and the choices she had made. She hoped the fresh air and the beauty of nature would help her find some clarity. Sarah put on her warm coat, tied her scarf loosely around her neck, and stepped out of her cottage. The town was quiet, with only the sound of birds chirping in the distance. She walked down the cobblestone path that led to the edge of town, where the fields stretched out as far as the eye could see. As she walked, Sarah thought about her life. She had moved to Willowbrook 2 years ago, leaving behind the busy city where she had grown up. At first, she had loved the peace and quiet of the countryside, but lately she had begun to wonder if she had made the right decision. Her job at the local library was steady, but unexciting, and she missed the energy and opportunities of the city. Lost in her thoughts, Sarah didn't notice the old man sitting on a bench by the path until she was almost upon him. He was dressed in a worn but neat jacket, and a flat cap rested on his head. In his hands he held a small notebook, which he was scribbling in with a pencil. "Good morning," Sarah said, startled but polite. The man looked up and smiled. "Good morning to you too, young lady. Lovely day for a walk, isn't it?" Sarah nodded. "Yes, it is. I didn't mean to disturb you." "Oh, you're not disturbing me," the man said, closing his notebook. "I come here every morning to write. The quiet helps me think." Sarah hesitated for a moment, then sat down on the bench beside him. "What do you write about?" she asked. "Oh, a bit of everything," the man replied. "Stories, memories, thoughts. Writing helps me make sense of the world." Sarah smiled. "That sounds nice. I've been feeling a bit lost lately, to be honest. I'm not sure if I'm where I'm supposed to be." The man nodded thoughtfully. "I understand that feeling. Life is a way of throwing us off course sometimes. But sometimes being lost is just part of the journey." Sarah looked at him, curious. "Do you think so?" "I do," the man said. "When I was your age, I was full of doubts too. I wanted to be a writer, but everyone told me it was a foolish dream. So I worked in a factory for years, always wondering what might have been. It wasn't until I retired that I finally started writing. And you know what? I wish I had started sooner." Sarah listened intently. "Do you regret not pursuing your dream earlier?" The man shook his head. "Not exactly. Life is full of twists and turns. We can't always control where we end up, but we can choose how we respond to it. I've learned that it's never too late to follow your heart." Sarah thought about his words. "Maybe you're right. Maybe I've been too focused on what I think I should be doing instead of what I really want." The man smiled. "It's easy to get caught up in expectations, our own and others. But at the end of the day, it's your life. You have to live it in a way that feels right to you." They sat in silence for a while, watching the mist slowly lift from the fields. Sarah felt a sense of calm she hadn't felt in a long time. "Thank you," she said finally. "I think I needed to hear that." The man nodded. "Any time, young lady. Sometimes all we need is a little perspective." Sarah stood up and stretched. "I think I'll keep walking. It's such a beautiful day." "Enjoy it," the man said, opening his notebook again. "And remember, life is a journey. Don't be afraid to take the path that calls to you." Sarah smiled and continued down the path, feeling lighter than she had in weeks. The field stretched out before her, golden and endless, and for the first time in a long time, she felt a spark of hope. As she walked, she thought about the old man's words. Maybe she didn't have all the answers yet, but that was okay. Life was a journey, and she was ready to take the next step. Originally, there were no vocabulary notes available, unfortunately, as DeepSeek kept coming back with the message, "The server is busy, please try again later." But I persisted, so here are the vocabulary notes. Restless, meaning unable to stay still or relaxed, often due to worry or boredom. Example from the story. Sarah had been feeling restless lately, unsure about her future and the choices she had made. Similar words. Anxious, feeling worried or nervous. Agitated, feeling troubled or disturbed. Fidgety, unable to sit still. Clarity, meaning clearness of thought or understanding. Example from the story. She hoped the fresh air and the beauty of nature would help her find some clarity. Similar words. Understanding, comprehension or awareness. Lucidity, clear and easy to understand. Precision, exactness or accuracy. Cobblestone, meaning a small round stone used to pave roads or paths. Example from the story. She walked down the cobblestone path that led to the edge of town. Similar words. Pavement, a paved surface for walking or driving. Gravel, small stones used for paths or roads. Flagstone, flat stones used for paving. Startled, meaning suddenly surprised or alarmed. Example from the story. "Good morning," Sarah said, startled but polite. Similar words. Shocked, extremely surprised. Alarmed, feeling sudden fear or worry. Astonished, very surprised. Scribbling, meaning writing or drawing quickly or carelessly. Example from the story. In his hands he held a small notebook, which he was scribbling in with a pencil. Similar words. Jotting, writing something quickly. Doodling, drawing or writing aimlessly. Scrawling, writing in a messy or hurried way. Twists and turns, meaning unexpected changes or developments in a situation. Example from the story. Life is full of twists and turns. We can't always control where we end up. Similar words. Ups and downs, alternating good and bad experiences. Changes, alterations or shifts. Surprises, unexpected events. Regret, meaning a feeling of sadness or disappointment about something that has happened or been done. Example from the story. Do you regret not pursuing your dream earlier? Similar words. Remorse, deep regret or guilt. Sorrow, a feeling of deep sadness. Disappointment, unhappiness about something not meeting expectations. Perspective, meaning a particular way of viewing something, a point of view. Example from the story. Sometimes all we need is a little perspective. Similar words. Outlook, a person's point of view or attitude. Viewpoint, a particular way of thinking about something. Angle, a particular way of approaching something. Stretch, meaning to extend or spread out over an area. Example from the story. The field stretched out before her, golden and endless. Similar words. Extend, to make something longer or larger. Spread, to open or arrange over a larger area. Expand, to become larger or more extensive. Spark, meaning a small amount of a quality or feeling, especially one that grows or develops. Example from the story. For the first time in a long time, she felt a spark of hope. Similar words. Glimmer, a faint sign of something. Hint, a small indication of something. Flicker, a small unsteady amount of something. Story written by DeepSeek AI. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.englishspeaking.com. steveuk.blog. Thank you.